We are now with our module number 2 in quarter 1. So still we are talking about organic chemistry. So our objective for this week is name and write structural formulas of branch chain alkanes. So let's understand some concept that you will be encountered in this week. The first one is structural isomers. When we say structural isomers, these are compounds with the same molecular formula but with different structural formulas. So later on I will show you an example of that. Then the next one we have a branch chain hydrocarbons. When we say branch chain, so from the word itself, these are hydrocarbons containing branch chains. Alright, so I have here an example. So we have here a butane with this condensed structure. Butane contains carbon 4 and hydrogen 10. And then another butane here. This is so-called the structural isomers. It also contains carbon 4 and hydrogen 10. Okay, so what is the difference? The difference is that their structure. So this one, ito po ay may sanga or it contains a branch chain, while this one is just a straight chain. So that is an isomer. Magkapareho po yung kanilang molecular formula, but the structure, yung itsura po, yung structure po nila ay magkaiba. Another example here, we have pentane. Pentane with this condensed structural formula here. And the so-called isomers of pentane or isomer of pentane looks like this one. And then another structure of pentane, yung isomer din ng pentane, is this one. Okay, so ano po yung napapansin ninyo? Lahat po sila ay mayroong molecular formula na C5H12. So it contains, all of the structures here contains 5 carbon atoms and 12 hydrogens. So again, when we say isomer or isomers, same molecular formula but different in structure. So the IUPAC system of, or the so-called International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, come up with the different rules in naming of an alkanes. So these are the rules. The first one is you need to choose the longest chain, or that is the so-called the parent chain, and it should be given a name identical to that of the alkane having the same number of carbon atoms as the parent chain. The second one is you're going to number the carbon atoms of the parent chain, starting at the carbon atom closest to a substituent. Ano po ba yung substituent na yan? That is the branching group. So example po is an alkyl. So alkyl lang po ba yung pwedeng maging branching group? No. Pwede pong iba pa, like hydroxyl or carboxyl. Another rule rather. So we have name the substituents in alphabetical order, indicating the numbers of the carbon atoms to which the substituents are attached. So the numbering of carbon atoms should give the substituents the lowest numbers. Okay. Number 4 rule, if a substituent appears more than once, use prefixes like di for 2, tri for 3, and tetra for 4, and so on to indicate the frequency of appearance of the substituent. So how are we going to name a branch chain alkane? So our first example here is a condensed structure formula. So the first rule in naming alkanes, branch chain alkanes, is that you're going to choose the longest chain, or that is known as the parent chain. Okay, and then after that, you name it identical to that of the alkane having the same number of carbon atoms as the parent chain. Okay, so let us look for the longest chain. So bibilangin natin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the longest chain. Yun yung pinakamahabang carbon to carbon atom chains. So, ano yung alkane na mayroong 4 carbon atoms? So, that is butane. Okay. So, after that, look for the substituent. Ano ba yung tinatawag na substituent? Yan yung nakasanga na hydrocarbon. So, in this case, this is the substituent. Okay? This substituent is an alkyl group. A substituent, pwede pong alkyl group o iba pang klase ng group. So, ano po ang pangalan ng alkyl group na ito? This is a methyl, because CH3 is a methyl. Then, number the carbon atoms of the parent chain starting at the carbon atom closest to a substituent o yung branching group na sinabi ko kanina. So, saan po tayo magsisimula? So, saan po ba pinakamalapit ito? So, this methyl here is closest to this one. So, we will start numbering from here. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So, the next thing to do is to write the name of the substituent right here. So, this is a methyl. Okay, next. Copy the number of the carbon atom where the substituent is connected. So, as you can see, the methyl here is connected to the second carbon atom. So, we will place number 2 here, separated by a dash, because a number and a letter or a word should be separated by a dash or with a dash. So, the name of this branch chain alkane here is 2-methylbutane. So, our example number 1 can also be represented using this structure. So, ang tawag po dito is skeletal structure. So, pwede po tayong gumamit ito para mapabilis yung ating pagsusulat. Because if we're going to use the condensed structural formula, medyo mahaba, so matatagalan tayo. Okay? So, let us place here the substituent. Katulad ng kanina. So, again, this is the substituent. The name of the substituent alkyl group is a methyl. Okay? So, the name of the longest carbon atom chain or the parent chain is butane, because there are 4 carbon atoms. That is butane. Okay, and then the substituent, the name of the substituent is a methyl. And then, number the carbon atoms of the parent chain, starting at the carbon atom closest to a substituent. So, dito tayo magsisimula, katulad nung kanina, kasi ito ay mas malapit doon, kumpara po dito. So, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then copy the number of carbon atom where the substituent is connected. So again, the substituent methyl is connected to the second carbon atom. So we have here number 2, and then separated by or with a dash. Ulitin ko, number and letter or word should be separated by a dash or with a dash. So again, using the condensed structural formula or the skeletal structural formula, we will get the same answer, or the name is just the same. So 2-methylbutane. Okay, so example number 2 na tayo. So for this example, I will be using the skeletal structure kasi sabi ko nga mas madali siyang isulat. Okay, so first rule, choose the longest chain or the parent chain. Let us count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pwede namang from this point to the left, same lang naman, 5, the longest chain is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if we're going to count this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, pwede naman po yun, pero 4 carbon atoms lang yun. So hindi siya longest chain. Pwede rin pong ganito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pwede rin po. But still, the number of carbon atoms po ay 5 lang. So, the parent chain contains 5 carbon atoms. So, anong alkane po? Yung mayroong 5 carbon atoms. So, based on your list na pinag-aralan na natin ng first week, that alkane that contains 5 carbon atoms ay pentane. So, I will write here pentane. Small letter lang po yung P, pentane. And then, next rule, look for the substituent. Okay, so we have our substituent here. Substituent here. And the name of that substituent is a methyl. Because there's only one carbon atom there, right here. And then the other one here is also a substituent. Okay. And again, the name of that substituent is a methyl. Now, so right here, the name of the substituent, which is a methyl. Next, look for the number the parent chain kung nasaan daw yung may pinakamalapit na substituent. So as you can see, substituent here, this methyl here is closest to this carbon atom. So nandito po. By the way, every point of this skeletal structure po ay mayroong carbon atom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so let us write the number of carbon atom where the substituent is connected. So right here we have 2 and then 3. So we have 2, 3, and then kung nakikita nyo, dalawa po yung methyl. So instead na sabihin natin na 2-methyl, we will be using the prefix di, because according to the rule, when there is more than one substituent, you're going to use a prefixes like di, tri, tetra, and so on to indicate the frequency of appearance of the substituent. So in this case, since we have two substituents here, we will be using the word or the prefix di. So the name of this structure here is 2,3-dimethyl pentane. So pentane po yung longest chain, that is the longest branch chain alkane. Methyl is the name of the substituent. Di, because there are two substituents connected. Nasaan nakakonect? Nasa number 3, right here. And then the other one ay nasa number 2. So again, 2,3-dimethyl pentane is the name. Okay, so given this structure here, how are we going to name? So first, look for the longest chain or the parent chain. Let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 carbon atoms. That is the parent chain or the longest chain. Wala lang iba kasi tingnan natin to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 pa rin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So the longest chain contains 8 carbon atoms. And the name of that octane, alkene rather, is an octane. And then look for the substituents. What are the names of the substituents? So we have here one substituent here. This is the substituent. Ano kaya ang pangalan ng substituent na yan? Methyl pa ba siyang matatawag? So remember that every point of this skeletal structure contains carbon atoms. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Kaya nga siya octane. Okay, so if we're going to count this way, so 1, 2, 3. The substituent here contains 3 carbon atoms. So hindi na po siya 1. So hindi na po methyl ang tawag sa kanya. Instead, ang pangalan po niya ay magiging propyl. Again, paano naging propyl? So 1, 2, 3. There are 3 carbon atoms there. So the name of that alkyl group is propyl. While this one here, since there are 2 carbon atoms here, 1 and 2, so the name of this substituent here is an ethyl. Kasi may dalawa po. Okay, so let us number the parent chain. if we're going to start from left going to the right, 6, 7, 8. So, ano yung napunta sa number 4? So, we have propyl. Right here, the propyl. Dash, nasa number 4 carbon atom. And on the number 5, we have ethyl. Ethyl. Nasa number 5. Okay, so that is our choice number 1. Again, the longest chain is octane. The substituent in number 4 carbon atom, we have propyl. And then on the number 5, we have ethyl. How about, baliktarin naman natin yung numbering natin. Doon naman tayo sa right side magsisimula, going to the left. May karoon kaya ng pagbabago. Let us check. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So nagkaroon po ba ng pagbabago? Yes. The longest chain or the parent chain, octane pa rin. But the substituent, look at the substituent. On the number 4 carbon, on the 4th carbon atom, ay nagkaroon na po ng, si ethyl na po yung napunta dyan. Sa number 5 po, napunta na po dun si propyl. Yan, nasa number 5. So, alin po ang tama dyan? According to the rule, name the substituent in alphabetical order. So, nasaan po yung substituent? Yan po si propyl at si ethyl. So, sino pa dapat ang nauna? Ethyl comes first before propyl. So, it seems that number 1 is correct. But then, dapat daw yung carbon atom ay mababa kung saan na-connect yung substituent. So, tingnan po natin. 5-ethyl. Si 5-ethyl po ay ito, nasa number 5. While here, si ethyl po ay nasa number 4. Parehas pong ethyl, pero nasa anong number po anong number of carbon atoms po nakalagay. So, yung isa nasa 5, yung isa nasa 4. So, nasaan po yung mas mababang number of carbon atom? This one. Okay? So, 4 is lower than 5 or smaller than 5. So, therefore, dapat pa ito yung piliin natin. So, choice number 1 po natin ay hindi tama. Tatanggalin po natin yan. Okay? So, si choice number 2 po ang magiging tama, pero we need to arrange this one. Dapat nauna po si ethyl because E comes first before letter P. And look at the number. Mas mababa po yung nauna kumpara sa pangalawang number 5. So, let us arrange this one. So, we have here propyl. Nasa number 5. And then, si ethyl ay nasa number 4. Okay, so that is the correct name of this structure here. So, we have 4-ethyl right here. Ethyl. 5-propyl. 5-propyl. And then the parent chain contains 8 carbon atoms. So, that is an octane. So, that is the name. Alright, so another example here. How to name this structure. So, the first thing that you need to do is to count the longest chain or the parent chain. So, let us count. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 carbon atoms. How about this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still, there are 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 pa rin. So, the longest chain or carbon-to-carbon chain is, or rather contains 6 carbon atoms. So, we will name it hexane. Okay, and then, let us number the parent chain closest to the, or look for the substituent. So, the substituents right here, mas malapit po siya dito sa carbon atom na nandito. So, we will start numbering here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then, what are the substituents? So, we have substituent here, another one here, and we also have here. So, we have here a methyl substituent, and here we have an ethyl. Talagyan ko na po ng pangalan. So, we have methyl for the substituent. and another methyl here. Okay? And then, so saan daw po nakakonect yung methyl na yon? So we have 2, carbon atom number 2. There are 2 methyls. So we have methyl. So nasa carbon number 2. So di 1 and 2. So let us put a di here. And then nasa carbon number 2. Another carbon number 2. And then we have, on carbon number 4, we have ethyl. So we have here ethyl, my dash, nasa number 4. Okay? So, ma'am, ba't sabi niyo po kanina, dapat i-arrange po natin yung substituent, alphabetical order. Kasi, yung E po ba, mas nauna sa dimethyl? Yung ethyl, nauna po ba sa dimethyl? Okay, so sabi po sa rule, name the substituent in alphabetical orders. Sabi po, substituent po yung sinabi. So, the substituent po is methyl and ethyl. So, hindi po kasama si prefix na di. Again, substituent lamang po ang i-arrange in alphabetical order. Hindi po kasama si prefix. So, ethyl comes first before methyl. So, tama lang po yung ginawa nating arrangement. Okay? So, the name of that structure is 4-ethyl because there is an ethyl connected to the 4th carbon atom right here. And on the number 2 carbon atom, we have a methyl. Another carbon number 2, we have another methyl. So, therefore, there are 2 methyls. So, we have di, prefix di. And then, the name of substituent is methyl. And then, the longest chain or the parent chain contains 6 carbon atoms. So, that is a hexane. Okay, so 4-ethyl to 2-dimethyl hexane. So we're done in naming. So this time we're going to write naman the structural formulas of alkanes. So what are the rules in writing the structural formulas? So the first rule is that you're going to connect the carbon atoms to the parent chain by single bond in a continuous chain. Number 2, attach the substituents to their corresponding carbon atoms of the parent chain by single bonds. And then the third one, complete the hydrogen atoms in the parent chain. So later on, gagawa po tayo niyan. Okay? So let us now write the structural formulas of alkane. So writing naman tayo kung kanina nag-name tayo. This time, reverse naman ang ginawa kanina. Susulat naman natin yung kanyang structure given the name of a branch chain alkane. So, ano yung rule? First, of course, you look for the longest chain. Sulat natin yung longest chain, hexane. So, remember, hexane contains 6 carbon atoms. Okay? So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, that is a hexane. Next, let us number it. Pwede tayo magsimula dito or sa kabila. So, I will choose to start here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? So, sabi po dito, ano po yung pangalan ng substituent? So, we have methyl. Okay? So, alam naman natin na yung methyl ay CH3. At ilang methyl daw po? Di. Saan po nakakonect? Sa number 4 carbon atom at sa number 2. So, look for number 2. Let us connect the methyl CH3 and then sa number 4, let us connect naman another methyl. So, we have here methyl. Ayan. So, let us check kung tama yung ating structure na ginawa. So, again, hexane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is the longest chain or the parent chain, hexane. So, the name of the substituent is methyl. So, we have methyl here. Methyl po, ayan. Yan po yung mga substituents. So, since there are 2 methyl, we will be using di. Ayan, di ang ginamit. So, dalawa. Saan po connected? Anong number of carbon atoms? Nasa number 4 at nasa number 2. So that is now the structural formula given the name of a branch chain alkane. Okay, for our example number 2, we have 4-ethyl, 2, 3, 3 trimethyl hexane. So let us now write the parent chain is a hexane. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is a hexane. Okay, next. Lagay na natin yung substituent. The substituent is a methyl. So there are 3 methyl daw na makikita. Saang number of carbon atoms nakakonect yun. Let us first write a number para hindi tayo malito. So we have 1, 2, so 3 right here, and then 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Let us now place the methyl. Sabi po dyan, sa number 3, mayroong methyl. So number 3 is right here. So maglalagay ako ng CH3 dyan. So another number 3 daw ulit, mayroon pang isang methyl. So let us place here another methyl. Again, ulitin ko po. Sa number 3, mayroong methyl. So ito na po yun, number 3, there is one methyl. Another number 3 daw po, there is a methyl. Another number 3. So ibig sabihin, maglalagay po ulit ako ng isa dito. And that is also a methyl, CH3. Next. Sa number 2 daw po, carbon atom, ay mayroon ding daw methyl. Kasi tatlong methyl, trimethyl. So another methyl here, CH3. And then, sa number 4 daw po, mayroong ethyl. So where is number 4? Right here. So let us draw the structure of a methyl. So right here, 1. Since ethyl po siya, rather ethyl, so dalawa, 1 and 2. And then we have the CH3 here. Again, ulitin po natin. The longest chain or the parent chain is a hexane. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a hexane. And then the substituent is a methyl. Methyl. So saan po nakakonect yung methyl? Isa-isahin muna natin. Nasa number 3 daw po, may methyl. Right here. Down here. Okay, so we have 1 methyl. Another, sa number 3 daw po ulit, dalawang beses man ilalagay yung 3 kasi yung pinakalagay. So number 3 ulit dito, CH3. And then for the number 2 carbon atom, another CH3. So bilangin natin yung substituent na methyl. So sabi po dito is tri. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So tama. Tatlong methyl po yung nakikita natin dyan. And then, sa number 4 carbon naman, right here, yan po yung number 4, meron daw pong ethyl. So, ang structure po ng ethyl ay hindi lang po isang guhit yan, kasi ang ethyl po ay dalawang carbon atom. So, we have one carbon atom, and then another one. So, saka po tayo maglalagay ng CH3 or alkyl. Okay? So, that is the correct structural formula of 4-ethyl 2,3,3-trimethyl hexane. Okay, so for our example number 3, let us try this one. So again, look for the parent chain. The parent chain is an octane. So pag sinabing octane, ibig sabihin there are 8 carbon atoms connected to one another. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sabi po dyan, mayroon daw pong methyl na nakakonect. Okay? So, ilan daw pong methyl di? So, nasa anong number of carbon atoms? 3 and 4. And then sa number 6 naman daw po, mayroong ethyl. Okay, so let us number first. So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, nasa number 4, merong methyl. So, let us place here, methyl. And then, nasa number 3, mayroon din daw, methyl. So, right here. O, baliktarin naman natin. So, dito ako maglalagay ng number 3. And then, the substituent is here, CH3. And then, in number 6, carbon atom, we have ethyl. So, ethyl po, sinabi ethyl. So, there are 2, 1, and 2. So, we have CH3. So, tingnan po natin kung tama yung ating structure. Pwede naman pong dito kayo magsimula ng numbering. Okay? So, in this example, I will start here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So, that is the longest chain. And then, dimethyl. So, nasaan yung dimethyl? 1 and 2. Nasa anong carbon atoms nakakonect? Nasa number 3 and 4. So, we have 3 and 4. And then, in the number 6 carbon, right here, we have ethyl. So, ito po yung ethyl. Nasa number 6. So, that is the correct structure of 6-ethyl 3,4-dimethyl octane. So let us now proceed to our objective number 2 for this week. We're going to name and write molecular and structural formulas of alkenes. Okay, so alkenes naman po. An alkenes are hydrocarbons having at least one double bond and has a general formula of CnH2n. So a straight chain alkene has a name made by adding the suffix ene to the stem of an alkene. So right here we have an example. So on the right side here, here is the list of the stem with the corresponding numbers or number of atom. So given an example here, we have carbon 3. So we will use this formula right here. So let us substitute the given value. So for carbon, the value of N is 3 right here. So substitution of the given value of N. So we have carbon 3, H2 times 3. So the molecular formula is C3H6. And look at the table here, right here. So carbon 3, ito po yung carbon 3, the name of the stem is prop, and since we're talking about alkene, yung ene po sa dulo ng alkene ay idadaglag lamang po doon sa prop. So magiging pangalan po niya is propene. Okay, naintindihan po ba yun? Next, another example here. So we have carbon 2, substitution of the given value of carbon, we have C2, H2 times 2. So the molecular formula will be C2H4. So nasaan po yung carbon number 2 right here? Ano po yung stem? The stem is F. So idadagdag po yung ene ng alkene. So what is then the name? Okay, so the name is ethene or ethylene right here. So what are the rules in naming alkene? First rule, select the parent chain or the longest continuous carbon chain containing the carbon-to-carbon double bond. Then the second one, number the carbon atoms of the parent chain starting at the end closer to the double bond. The third one, name the parent chain indicating the lower number of the carbon atom containing the double bond. And then the fourth one, Name the substituents the same way the substituents in an alkene are named. Okay, so we're going to name an alkene. So alkene na po ang pinag-uusapan natin ngayon. Okay, alkene, because we have here a double bond. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is to count or to look for the parent chain or the longest chain. So bilangin natin 1, 2. There are 2 carbon atoms here, so let us name it as F. The stem is F, and then copy the ENE of an alkene and then attach it here. So we have here an ethene, and then count the number of the carbon atom closest to the double bond. So nasaan yung double bond? Right here. So let us start here, 1 and 2. Okay, so the first end of the double bond is connected to the first carbon atom here. So how about let us write here 1 first, and then let us number it from here. So 1 and 2. So still the double bond is connected, the first end of the double bond is connected to the first carbon atom. So still I got 1 ethene. Okay, since there is no other possibility where the double bond is located, wala naman pong iba, 1 and 2, kahit baliktarin natin, nasa number 1 pa rin siya. So there's no need to place 1 or number 1 in this structure, again, because there's only one possibility where the double bond is connected. So we can just write an ethene. Alright, so let us have example number 2. So the first rule again is to look for the parent chain or the continuous carbon to carbon atom chain. So bilangin natin kung ilang carbon atoms ang nandyan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So therefore, since the name of the parent chain is pent, okay, pent, and since we're talking about alkene, because there is the double bond here, so let us attach the ENE of the alkene, the name of an alkene, and then number the parent chain starting at the end closer to the double bond. So saan po tayo pwede magsimula? So dahil nandito yung double bond, check natin dito. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So dapat to pinakamababang number of carbon atom yung ating kukunin. So writing the number starting at the right, going to the left, the double bond is connected to the first to the second carbon atom rather, right here. Okay, so we have 2 pentene. How about on the other side naman tayo magsisimula? What if dito tayo nagsimulang mag-number? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So nasaan po yung number of carbon atom where the double bond is connected? Yung first. So nandito po. Since ito yung double bond, nandito po siya naka-attach na una. So ito yung magiging carbon atom na kung saan siya unang naka-attach. So as you can see, 3 is greater than 2. So therefore, ang pipiliin pa rin po natin is the smaller one, which is number 2. So hindi po yung 3. So again, the name of this structure here is 2-pentene. Okay, so example number 2 can be represented also using the skeletal structure. So let us, how are we going to name this structure? Let us look for the parent chain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still we have pent. And since we have here a double bond, let us attach the ENE of an alkene and then number it starting at the carbon atom closest to the double bond. So the double bond is right here, so we will start numbering here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the end point of the double bond is connected to the second carbon atom. So let us copy the number 2 here and then with the dash. So the name of this structure is still 2 pentene. Okay, so how are we going to write structural formula of an alkene? So given here we have 3-methyl 1-butene. The first thing that you need to do is to draw the parent chain. So we have here butene, so the stem is but, therefore there are 4 carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the double bond is connected to the first carbon atom. So we can place here or on the other side. So I can place here the double bond. In either way, pwede rin dito, pwede doon. On the first, so let us number this one. So this is 1. We have 2, 3, and 4. And then on the third carbon atom, according to the given, there is the alkyl group, the substituent, which is the methyl. Okay, so I will draw here a methyl. So again, let us check if we got the correct structure. So the parent chain is butene. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The double bond is right here in the number 1 carbon atom. So dito po nagsimula yung double bond sa number 1 carbon atom here. And then on the third carbon atom right here, there is the substituent, an alkyl group, which is a methyl. And here is the methyl. So that is the structural formula for 3-methyl 1-butene. Okay, for our second example, we have the given here 5-diethyl 3,4-dimethyl 3-heptene. Yes, so medyo mahaba, but never worry, this is very simple. The first thing that you have to do, that you need to do, is to look for the parent chain or to draw the parent chain, which is heptene. So there are 7. Heptene contains 7 carbon atoms. Let us draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the double bond is on the third carbon atom. So pwede po tayo maglagay dito or sa kabila. So pwede po tayo mag-start here. So 1, 2, 3. So right here, you can place a double bond here. Okay. And then let us write a number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then there are 2 methyl. Nasaan po nakakonect? Anong number of carbon atom? So we have on the third and on the fourth carbon atoms, we have methyl. So let us look for number 3 carbon atom here. So there is a methyl. So babalik na rin ko po, dito ko ilalagay. There is a methyl, o the symbol or structure CH3. And then on the fourth, meron ding methyl, so CH3. And then on the fifth here, there is an ethyl, so 1, 2, ethyl. And another on the fifth, there is also another ethyl. So we have here 1 and 2, we have CH3. So let us check kung tama po yung ating structure na ginawa. So again, the parent chain or the longest continuous chain is heptene. So there are 7 carbon atoms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the double bond is located here on the third carbon atom, right here. So ito po yung double bond. Nagsimula sa carbon 3 and then na-end po dun sa carbon 4. So right here, number 3. So that is correct. On the third and on the fourth carbon atoms, we have methyl. On the third, there is 1 methyl. On the fourth, another methyl. So there are 2 substituents methyl. So therefore, we have di. Yan. And then on the fifth, right here, on the fifth, we have ethyl. So 1 and 2, ethyl. And another, on the carbon number 5, we have ethyl. So 1 and 2. So we have here the ethyl. Right here. Okay? So that is the structure of 5,5-diethyl 3,4-dimethyl 3-heptene.